So this is the second video that I'm making um, regarding having joint custody of my grandchildren. And the first one I made was very hard because I've never made a video. I've constantly been an advocate for children, but never making a video. It's almost I'm struggling trying to say the right thing. I always tell people just speak from the heart, but it's this situation is emotional for me, but I need to release what's on my heart and what's been in my heart regarding this situation. One thing that I have come to um, understand is that I'm a protector. So part of me not wanting to make a video is because I wanted to protect myself and maybe my daughter or maybe my family or maybe God or maybe the church. But my heart is pure, and I want to deny myself and just say the truth, speak the truth. I am currently raising two grandchildren. I have joint custody. As I mentioned before, I'm currently in court with them now. Um, and I have been in court with them for the past 11 years. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about my grandchildren and my court situation with them without saying names again because it is a pending case. So I want to just talk about the emotions that I'm having behind it and also some of the frustration that I'm experiencing because the laws in the court system do not address the real reality of what's going on when you are um, raising children and you are aware that there's possible sexual abuse, neglect, um, and abandonment, and you are the caretaker. And I don't want to speak and you are. I want to speak personally about me. I've been I've had joint custody of my grandchildren for 11 years. There's an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old. And in the beginning, I wanted to protect my daughter who, her lifestyle, you know, was, first of all, she was a teen mom, and the lifestyle that she lived caused me to take custody of the first child. And being the type of mother that I am, I really just wanted my daughter to have a space in her son's life. But then, because of the lifestyle that she was living, there's been a lot of gaps, and we've been in and out of court due to her mental health and, again, the lifestyle that she was living, the company that she was keeping. It caused me to go back and forth to court, and I continue to try to work out supervised visits with my daughter, setting up all types of situations where, I was the supervisor, even allowing my daughter to come back and live with me so that I could still watch over my grandchild. She continued to live a lifestyle that was not good for her son, and I continued to go back and forth to court. It's been her against me, her father and her against me, me and her dad against her. And it's just been a history of situations involving um, my daughter, her dad, her and her dad. And this goes back 30 years now, with her father, me protecting her against her father. Now I'm protecting her kids from her. And it's come to a point where the petitions that are being filed it's just history repeating themselves. I've had court orders, I've had order of protections, I've had my daughter hospitalized so that she can get herself together, so that the unborn child could be born safely into the world. And there's documentation of neglect going back from there's documentation of neglect with the second child, which allowed her to be having to be registered in a database where she can no longer work with children. But it's crazy that she can't work with children, but the law allows her to still have access to her own children. And I just needed to be public that I do not want my daughter, her father, the children's paternal grandmother, I do not want them to have visitation or custody of my grandchildren. There's a history of abuse, violence, neglect with all of them. And every time we go back to court, there's evidence, there's documentation, but the law requires them to still have access to their child, to the children. And it's sad, it's very emotional, it's very hurtful that children and my grandchildren, not just my grandchildren, they could be put in harm's way. They could be put in a situation where they could even die because the law states that children can the parents or grandparents could still have access to the child, to children, even though it's documentation of previous dangers. And I've petitioned the court, and I've wrote letters, I've called out to CPS, and I've even commented on situations where there was this one lady, her name was maybe I better not mention it. There was one situation where a lady had a mental illness and she killed all 5 or 6 of her children. And there was evidence, documentation that those children should not be in the presence of their mother. And even recently, there's a mom who petitioned the court, and she did not want her ex-husband to see the children. The court still allowed those children to be in the presence of the dad. He still had visitation, and he killed both children. This is all recent. And I just needed to go on record that I'm not for any of the grandparents or even my daughter to have custody or visitation of those children, of my grandchildren. I've tried doing supervised visits. I've tried being the supervisor of them. I've been in compliance of every single thing that the court has told me to do. And it's very sad that the person, myself, or there's others out there, other caretakers who are doing everything they can to make sure these children are being raised. Right now, my grandchildren, along with myself, are seeking therapy. The children have behaviors that go that are related to the development they received. Even the 6-year old is her development is delayed based on situations that happened in her womb, the womb of the mom. And the court is not going to take time to look at all of this. It is challenging what my grandchildren are going through. And I'm knocking on doors, I'm writing letters, I'm doing everything that I can to bring awareness, whereas the mom and the other grandparents, basically, they don't have a clue what's going on with these children. My grandchildren have been pacified, they've been bought with gifts, money, all things, I call it, they've been bribed just so that the real situations going on with them won't be exposed. There's mask over my daughter, her grand, and her father, the kid's grandparents. They are masking the situation involving my grandchildren. And I just want to be a voice. I just have to speak now publicly. And I've gotten court mandates. I've had Child Protective Services intervene. They have so many cases right now. By the time they finally did catch up with my daughter, I had already went and got a court order myself. I'm not an attorney. My job is to raise my grandchildren, but I'm getting court orders and petitions, and I'm doing all of this advocacy by myself, because in the system, even though you get an attorney, they have 20 plus cases, and they have so many situations and cases. You might speak to them maybe 5 minutes concerning your situation, so they don't even really know the history, or they may not even have clear knowledge of what's going on. Sometimes they may not even speak to you before, but they may not speak to you until the day of your court appearance. It's very sad. It's disheartening. And whether the court makes the right decision, I'm going to start and I'm going to continue talking about what is going on when it deals with custody cases in the Erie County family court system.